Hi boys and girls. Today I am going to now do your math instructional lesson, and we will go over this in our small groups. Whether you meet today or tomorrow, it's the same lesson. So if you have math small groups today, we're going to go over this same lesson today. If you have them tomorrow, we're still on lesson 6, just reviewing lesson 6 a little bit more and going into it, but your small group will still be over lesson 6, so you're not missing anything. It's just that some of you will have the small group today, some of you will have it tomorrow. But I wanted to introduce the lesson a little bit, even though it's repetitive to what you've been kind of doing the last week or so. It's obviously on multiplication still. And I am telling you that I would love for you to start practicing those multiplication facts, because you need to make sure that you know your multiplication facts. And what better way to do it than practice? Flashcards, games online, right? I know that you love Prodigy. I know that you love Cool Math Games. They have some great multiplication games that you can do online. But something that you're going to practice, use your multiplication chart that Mrs. Demeter gave you and just use it and go over it, right? Some way of practicing those facts every day, okay? Basically, your math is showing you that multiplication is in groups. Multiplication, you're taking groups and you're multiplying them. So rather than adding 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, you can just know 5 times 4 equals 20. And you don't have to spend all day adding all of those things up. So for today's math assignment, this is what you should have gotten assigned to you, one of the things. And basically, they just want you to put things into groups and then change it into a math problem or a math statement, right? Into a multiplication or division math sentence. So for the first one, it says Rick puts 15 tennis balls into cans. Each can holds 3 balls. Circle groups of 3 to show the balls in each can. Some of you are forgetting that step, and so then I try and show you when I grade your work, but they want you to do that. Even though it sounds kind of maybe easy, just do it because the instructions say to. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put, if these cans came in groups of 3 with tennis balls, you're first going to put them into groups of 3. Now remember, a multiplication fact has equal groups, okay? There's nobody left out, or it wouldn't be a multiplication fact. It would have a remainder, but we're not going to get into that yet. So these are equal groups of 3. So how many cans does Rick need? Well, he needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Because we put them into 5 equal groups of 3. So our problem would be 5 times 3 equals 15. Now, they didn't have you do the turnaround fact, but we've talked about that. The turnaround fact to this would be 3 times 5 equals 15. And then, of course, our division number sentence is 15 divided by 3 equals 5. And if we did another one, it would be 15 divided by 5 equals 3. It's those fact families, which is why when Mrs. Demeter had you do fact families, that's why it's important. They're using only the numbers 5, 3, and 15 to make those problems. Okay, and so that's kind of where this leads. Then it says Rick uses 15 tennis balls to make 5 equal groups. So now they're doing the reversal. So now instead of putting them, it says draw to show how many tennis balls are in each group. So now you have to put them into 5 equal groups. And you have to see how many groups of 5 you're going to have. Well, you might already know that because we just did the turnaround fact, but you need to draw it for me. And then fill in this information. And then basically you're just doing down here a fact family again of those numbers when you multiply and divide, okay? The next page of the problem set for lesson 6, let me scroll down here, that you should have today looks like this. Now this is a lot more words than normal, so if you need somebody to help you read those words to you at home, that's okay, but again, I want you can get help. And these are basically, it's problem set. So your exit ticket that you'll get tomorrow is what I actually take a grade on. This is more practice. This is more, somebody can help you, Mrs. Demeter can help you in our math small groups if you have a question. But this is basically just to kind of get you used to understanding how to do it, okay? So, Mrs. Demeter, it's really hard to read, I'm sure, for you back there, because it's even hard for me to read up here on the screen, but we're going to do the best we can here. So it says, let me find my sheet that I can actually read from, because this is a little tricky. All right, Dina makes 21 jars of tomato sauce. She puts 7 jars in each box to sell at the market. How many boxes does Dina need? Now, Mrs. Demeter is a visual thinker, which means I have to draw everything out, okay? It just helps me. Some of you don't really have to, but I still want you to show your work. I'm also really big on showing your work so I can help you with your mistakes. If I can't see what you did wrong, I'm not going to know what to help you with, okay? And when I go through and check each of your work on Seesaw, because believe it or not, I look at each one, I take my time, and that's how I see what we need help in, okay? So, when I say this, she has 21 jars, and she wants to put them into, she put 7 jars in each box. How many boxes does she need? And remember, I only have 21 altogether, and I'm going to put them in groups of 7. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's a box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's a box. And so far I have 7 plus 7 is 14, so I'm not to 21 yet, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, 14 plus 7 more, now I'm to 21, right? So it took me 3 boxes to get to 21, which tells me that 3 times 7 or 7 times 3 is 21. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 21 divided by 7 is 3. Fact family. Only using these 3 numbers. Okay? So the next problem is very similar to that you're going to do on your own. I don't want to do all these for you. I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of what you're supposed to be doing. You're putting things into equal groups. And then you're using those fact family skills to put them into number sentences. The last one, let's see, the blanks in problem 5 represent the size of the groups. Draw an array. So after you do number 5, you're going to draw an array. And remember, when you draw an array, if it's a 4 by 5, let's say, I'm going to turn this off so we don't get confused real quickly. Mrs. Demeter gets super confused about arrays, and I had to really embed it in my head over and over and over again that when an array, the first number is how many rows going down, okay? So if it's a 5 by 4 array, this number tells me how many going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? This number tells me how many in each row. So I'm going to have 4 in each row. So this is a 5 by 4 array. Okay? So it's the same thing as saying 5 times 4 equals 20, because I have 20 altogether. Now, if we did a 4 by 5 array, it would just kind of be like turned, okay? So again, now I have 4 rows going down, and I have 5 in each row. So notice the difference. This one just looks a little bit wider, right? Where this one looks a little bit more stretched out and longer. Same numbers, same total, only this one is 4 times 5 equals 20. And if we did a fact family with only these numbers, we could get 4 number sentences, right? We already did 2. These are turnaround facts. And then we could do 20 divided by 5 equals 4, or 20 divided by 4 equals 5. So fact families are going to help you learn your division and your multiplication facts. You're basically just taking three numbers that go together, because that's why they're a family, right? They go together, and they make four number sentences, unless there are two of the same numbers, which we'll get to later. But they don't make, when you're adding, you can't come up with four different ones if you can't, excuse me, you can't do a turnaround fact. Excuse me. So, for today's lesson, on your seesaw lesson, for your problem set, Mrs. Demeter instructed you a little bit of how to do that. Bring your questions for that to small group. Some of you in small groups, I'm taking you to the next level. Some of you we're going to take a step back, depending on what we need work on. So again, this lesson is something important for you to learn and remember what a fact family is and an array and how to group numbers. You're going to do your problem set today for lesson 6. Meet in your small group today if you're with Mrs. Demeter. If it's tomorrow, you're going to meet with Mrs. Demeter tomorrow over lesson 6 still, and continue working on the work that Mrs. Demeter gave you in Seesaw tomorrow if you don't meet in a small group. My math instructional lesson tomorrow is going to be a little bit of a review and a little bit more of review in other areas and not just over lesson 6. So I hope today that helped you a little bit understand your math for this afternoon or whenever you decide to do it. Just remember that making sure that you show your work, because you know that Mrs. Demeter is just probably going to send it back to you if it's not. And if you get something sent back over and over again, I know it's frustrating, but it's frustrating for me because all you have to do is do it right the first time. So if you get it sent back, that means that Mrs. Demeter wants you to redo it or add something to it, okay? All right, I will see those of you in small groups when we are scheduled to be on. Thank you very much.